Okay, we're going to talk right now about a low carb diet. Mostly I talk about like a no carb diet, okay? A no carb diet, a zero carb diet is basically where you keep your carbohydrates as low as possible. A low carb diet is where you use carbohydrates, okay, but you do not abuse carbohydrates. You only take in carbohydrates when they will benefit your body composition, and at other times when they're either useless or detrimental to your body composition, i.e., they'll make you, lose, gain fat, then you don't take them in. Okay, an example would be my Anaerobixx diet. My Anaerobixx diet has you taking in like a banana. I usually take a frozen banana with some kale, unsweetened, unflavored almond milk, plain non-fat Greek yogurt. Throw that all in a blender. Drink it before my workout. After my workout, I would have a mixture of whey protein, dextrose, creatine, and glutamine. I would drink that directly after my workout. Now, what we're going to talk about is how you could use an insulin spike, okay, to improve your training, to improve your body composition. That means the amount of muscle and the amount of fat you have. We will also discuss some of the fallacies brought out by the people who say a calorie is a calorie. All that matters is calories in, calories out. Take in more calories, you gain weight, drop calories, you lose weight. And it doesn't matter whether you eat, a banana or a yam or, a candy corn. It's all the same. Bullshit. Okay. But we'll get to that point. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about this. Taking in carbohydrates, especially simple carbohydrates, will spike your insulin. Okay, why would you want to spike your insulin? I mean, spiking your insulin causes you to store fat. A couple of things. First of all, it is really pretty good to spike insulin. Okay, if you are taking in carbohydrates intentionally, like on my Anaerobixx diet, spiking insulin will help you properly store those carbohydrates, okay, in your body to be used later on in your next workout, okay? Another thing about insulin is it's a very anabolic substance. That explains why bodybuilders are shooting up insulin all day. It is anabolic. It helps you build muscle. If you don't really care, okay, think dirty bulk, right? If you don't really care about your body composition, how fat you are, first of all, you're probably watching the wrong channel, okay? Everything I talk about is like, get strong, get lean, get big, whatever, while staying lean, okay? So you're probably watching the wrong channel, first of all. But second, if all you care about is getting big and you don't care about getting fat, you can go right ahead and eat carbs all day. You'll be spiking your insulin all day. It has an anabolic effect. You might be able to build a little bit of muscle because of that, but you'll also be building fat, which means if you're an athlete, having excess fat slows you down, makes you less athletic, less able to excel in your sport. Appearance-wise, even if you just bulk and then lose weight again, you're still going to basically have to lose that fat. So it's really counterproductive to get fat, okay? But like I said, if you don't care about it, fine. So how do you use insulin, use carbohydrates, use sugar to benefit, to recover from your workout, to prepare yourself for your next workout, to build muscle and not to get fat? Well, I'm going to tell you. First of all, I'm getting this information, okay, from this book, Everything You Need to Know About Fat Loss by Chris Aceto. Thank you to everybody who comments on my videos. If you ask a question, a lot of times it gives me an idea to make a new video, so thanks for the questions. If you make a comment like the guy who suggested I read this book, it gives me a suggestion of something else that I can, learn, read from, maybe in some of these videos. So I created the Anaerobixx diet maybe 3 years ago, okay? But like I said, I feel like a genius because this book basically substantiates what I was, claiming when I created the diet. Okay, and this is how it works. First of all, why do I take in dextrose powder, okay? Because you've got people out there saying a calorie is a calorie. If you take in more calories, you'll gain weight. Taking fewer calories, you'll lose weight. It doesn't matter if you eat a yam or a banana or some candy corn. It's all the same. A gram of carbs is a gram of carbs, and that's all bullshit, okay? There's a lot more going on in your body than the amount of calories you consume and the amount of calories you burn. There's a lot more, okay? It's hormones. And that's something that I've been saying before in other videos, but I'm going to say it again here, okay? So what he said, what Chris Aceto talks about in the section on macros, it says types of calories is the name of the chapter, but it's basically macros. It talks about how fats, carbs, and proteins work. Okay, what he says is complex carbohydrates elicit a lesser insulin response than manufactured carbohydrates. Okay, manufactured carbs being simple carbs. Manufactured carbohydrates release, calorie for calorie, more insulin than natural carbs. For example, 100 calories of carbohydrates from a yam yields less total insulin than 100 calories of carbohydrates from pretzels. Like I said, a calorie is not a calorie, okay? If you take in simple carbs, that gram for gram, just like Aceto says, causes a greater insulin spike, more insulin to be released into your body than a complex carb, or for it to be released faster than a complex carb, you have this rush, this spike of insulin all of a sudden, okay? So it's not just carbs, or it's not just carbs being carbs or calories being calories. The fact of the matter is, if you want a big insulin spike, it makes more sense to get more bang for your buck, the amount of calories you take in, the amount of carbs you take in, the grams of carbs you take in, to have them being a simple sugar. If you don't want to spike your insulin, it makes sense to have a more complex carb. Or it makes even more sense to take in protein or fat instead of carbohydrates at all. Okay? So once again, this whole calorie is a calorie, carb is a carb, that's all bullshit. Okay? So the best way for me to spike my insulin is by taking in a simple carb, like, for instance, dextrose, okay? Also in liquid form. Because, the people who say that meal timing doesn't matter, if you take a yam 7 hours after your workout, you're still getting in the same amount of carbohydrates. And, it doesn't matter if it's solid food like a yam or liquid food like a can of soda, or if it's directly after your workout. That's all bullshit, and I'm going to tell you why right here, okay? The fact of the matter is that liquid calories are easier to digest. If I drink dextrose powder mixed in water, it's going to get into my system faster. It's going to spike my insulin faster than if I go ahead and have like a yam, okay? Because I have to digest it. It has to be broken down. First of all, it has to be broken down because it's solid. Second, like it says here, okay, complex carbohydrates are basically simple carbohydrates all chained together. So they have to be broken down into simple carbs, and then they have to go ahead and be, set into your body in the form of sugar, okay? So there's a lot of digestion with solid food, a lot of digestion with, complex carbohydrates, which is good if you're eating carbs because it doesn't spike your insulin that much. But once again, hey, if I want to spike my insulin, and I'll explain why, if I want to spike my insulin, that's bad. So simple carbs, liquid carbs are completely different, okay, from complex carbs, especially solid complex carbs. Now, let's talk about how insulin causes you to become fat and when it does not cause you to become fat, okay? When more calories are consumed than the body needs every day, okay? And this is the part where everybody who says if it fits your macros, a calorie is a calorie, stops reading. Let's continue reading. When more calories are consumed than the body needs every day, and especially carbohydrate calories, the amount of sugar in the blood rises. When blood sugar levels rise, the body will kick up its production of insulin and store some of the carbohydrates so they can be used later. In general, the body stores the excess carbohydrates in the muscles as muscle glycogen or the liver as liver glycogen. Glycogen is really nothing more than a storage tank for sugar. Skip a paragraph. The muscles or liver can only hold on to, quote, so much sugar. Once these tanks are full, excess carbs will be stored as body fat. In most cases, If glycogen stores are not full, excess carbs will be deposited as glycogen. If glycogen stores are full, excess carbs will be stored as fat. Now's the part, okay, where my workouts, the type of workouts, and the meal timing really, really makes sense, okay? So, let's say I wake up in the morning, okay, and I go ahead and I take a bunch of sugar in. It's just said here, if your liver and your muscles are empty of glycogen, you're going to be able to fill up your muscles, your glycogen, okay, in your muscles and in your liver. But what happens if after my workout yesterday, I filled up my muscles and my liver with glycogen, and I really didn't burn anything since then, so they're pretty full. Now you have what is called spillover, and that's literally what it is. Let's say, your muscles are like a bucket, okay, and they're 3/4 full. And you pour in a bucket full of sugar. Well, 1/4 will go, and now when it's full, everything spills over. That's why bodybuilders call it spilling over. If you take in sugar, okay, your body spikes the insulin, it tries to store the sugar as glycogen in your muscles and your liver, but since they're already pretty full, there's not a lot of room, so what happens is it ends up being stored as fat. Okay? Because there are only really a few things that can happen when you take in any kind of food, okay? Like, let's say you take in carbs. Either A, part of them are burned off, okay, through digestion, okay? Part of them may be used as energy, and then the rest will be stored. And like I said, if the liver and the muscles are full of glycogen already, then it's going to be stored as fat. So this is when meal timing does make sense. People say it doesn't matter when you eat your meals. Yes, it does. Because the anaerobics diet, or the anaerobics workouts, anybody who's done them are really, really, really high intensity hardcore. 3 times a week, I would do like plyometrics, an upper body plyometric, wait 30 seconds, lower body plyometric, wait 30 seconds, upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower, constantly. Okay, and I'd build up the volume and the intensity of the exercises. Then I'd finish it off by building up to 12 sets of 10 reps of burpees with 30 seconds rest between. So I might be doing hundreds of push-ups, explosive push-ups for the plyos. Then I do, 10 sets or 12 sets of 10 burpees. That's like another, 120 push-ups. That's another 120 jumping squats, okay? After that, my body was empty. There's no glycogen whatsoever, okay, in my, my body, my blood, my muscles, my liver. I was just completely empty of carbohydrates. So for all these morons out here who say meal timing doesn't work, or it doesn't make sense, and I could wait 15 hours and have a yam, that would be fucking stupid because I'm dying here. I'm dying. My body is just completely destroyed, completely depleted, okay? So what I would do is I wouldn't even leave the gym to go to my car. I would go into the locker room, pour some water into my, into my little shaker bottle with the dextrose and the whey protein and the creatine and the glutamine, shake it up and drink it down. Now, remember what he said, okay? Now that my liver and my muscles are completely devoid of any kind of glycogen, all of a sudden this sugar comes in, okay? First of all, it's carbs. It's liquid carbs, easily digested, simple carbs, easily digested, spikes my insulin, and it forces everything into my muscles, okay? The glycogen goes into my liver, into my muscles. The whey protein, protein synthesis is helped by an insulin spike, okay? Like I said, it has an anabolic effect, okay? Even the creatine and the glutamine is better absorbed when there's a lot of insulin present, okay? And like I said, you would also figure out for your lean body weight exactly how much sugar you want, how much you want to spike your insulin, okay? So you would figure out how much dextrose to take in, okay, depending upon your lean body weight. And that was really the beauty of my anaerobics diet. So what you're doing is the entire day you're not taking any carbs, but basically protein, sometimes protein and fat. Before and after the workout, when you're going to use it, okay, you would take in carbohydrates. The carbs you take in before are used during your workout. carbs in the form of glycogen in your liver and in your muscles are used during your workout. After your workout, you're completely depleted. You take in a huge amount of carbs, a huge amount of sugar, and it fills up your muscle glycogen right after the workout. And then you don't eat again until right before your workout the next day. Because let's say I ate a yam in 3 hours. What the hell for? I'm really not working out after this, okay? My muscles and my liver are full with glycogen. So why the hell would I have to go ahead and have a yam 3 hours from now? It makes zero sense, okay? That would cause spillover. So that's how carb timing works. That's why meal timing is important. That's why a calorie isn't a calorie. That's why a gram of carbs isn't a gram of carbs. Okay, that's why the Anaerobixx diet works so well. That's how you can spike your insulin, get an anabolic effect, and that's also why you can do that without getting fat. And another thing I want to say, for the people who say that meal timing is important, they say that it is also not important that you eat the anabolic window. Like, oh, you need to eat right after your workout isn't true. You know, you can believe that if you want, but imagine if you just totally thrash your body, wring all the glycogen, all the carbs, all the sugar out of every single cell in your body. Okay, you're completely depleted, completely destroyed, and then you wait 10 hours and you have like a bowl of brown rice. Okay? Like, I needed that sugar right after these workouts. These days that I don't take any carbs at all, and I'm using fat, meal timing is a lot less important. That's true. But if you are on a carb timing diet, then time your carbs right. Anyway, like I said, check it out. Link in the description for my Anaerobixx program if you want to get lean and ripped, okay? My goal back then was like the guy Rain from Ninja Assassin. You know, I really wanted to get from fat as hell to be ripped like him. I think I looked better than him. That's just my opinion. But anyway, like I said, if you're looking for that look, the Anaerobixx diet and the Anaerobixx workout are 100% the best way that you could possibly get that look. And like I said, you don't even have to go and deprive yourself completely of carbohydrates. Okay, you don't have to go through the keto flu or anything like that. So, like I said, definitely check out my Anaerobixx diet down in the link below.